Okay, so this evening it's dark outside, but I'm ready to do Pravachan. Earlier when I was at work, I was just like we were bored at work, and I'm like, man, everybody's like, I wish I could be doing this right now. I wish I could be doing that right now. I'm like, I wish I could be giving Pravachan right now. Um, yeah, because when I get into the scriptures, it's just like I'm submersed. Um, I don't know. It's like I'm connected with the all, like as you can say. But I get so much joy out of it. Even late in the evening. So I want to read. Um, I just kind of opened it and just decided to read. So I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle of a section, but we're on chapter 4 here. And the heading is Kapila's teachings concerning divine love. Now, Kapila, uh, his father was a saint, and Kapila is a sage and a philosopher, I believe. Um, so I'm just going to read it. This is Kapila's teachings concerning divine love. Um, Devahuti had good reason to be proud of her beloved Kapila, her beloved son Kapila. He was born a free soul and a natural teacher of mankind, and he became the founder of the school of Sankhya philosophy. Oh yeah, he was a philosopher. Um, she herself, which is the mother they're speaking of, she herself had an innate yearning for the highest knowledge, and it was naturally her privilege to discuss philosophy and religion with him. One day she said to him, my son, you are very dear to me. Will you not tell me of that knowledge through which I may find freedom from the bondage of the world? Since taking on the duties of family life, I have become more and more attached to the world. In my youth, I learned much from your beloved father, Kardama. Now, in my old age, would I gladly learn wisdom of his son. That's beautiful. So Kapila says, O mother, one finds complete cessation of misery by following the yoga that teaches unity with the divine self, capital S. This yoga brings the highest good to humanity. You hear that? This yoga brings the highest good to humanity. Not warring and fighting to get your point across and all that stuff. No. Um, the unity with the divine self is the highest thing that you can do for all of humanity. I taught it to the saints of yore in my previous incarnations, and I will now teach it to you. Mind alone is the cause of the bondage of freedom of the soul. By the attachment of the mind to the world, we become bound. Yes, we do. By the devotion of the mind to God, we become free, and yes, we do. Okay, give up all ideas of me and mine, for thus alone is the heart purified, and so freed from lust, greed, and delusion. In a pure heart are manifested knowledge and love, and the true self, which is divine, self-luminous, pure, and free, is realized. The wise truly say that attachment to the things of the world is the cause of bondage and suffering. Yet attachment brings freedom when directed toward devout men. These are they who are self-controlled, forbearing, loving, and friendly to all. Reminds me of I Panta G. They dwell in the consciousness of God. Their hearts are united with God. No sorrow or grief, therefore, can agitate their minds or disturb their equilibrium. They are free from all attachment. I'm not that at that level yet, but that's okay. Yeah, I still need that little part attached to the world so that I can, help all my brothers and sisters over into the light. And once we're all secure and we're there and solidified there, then the full that cord's gonna get cut, but it's gonna be cut not in a harmful way, not in a fearful way. It's just gonna be cut, and I'll just be living in my new life, And then when we do that, we get born, we die, different aspects of ourselves are born and they die, and constant cycle of birth and death. Yeah, and then when you finally become unified within, and then you become unified as one within yourself, and then you start to realize you're like unified with everything else, and you're more unified with people, you know what I'm saying? You can feel people deeper. However, their ills or their pains don't affect you in the way that they once did, especially if you're like an empath, a person that feels other people's energies and feels other people's pains. And I always felt the pains, before, but now as I walk in my glory, I see in glory, and I see the glory of the people before me, and I think it kind of sparks that light to see themselves too, because I've seen a couple light bulbs just pop on, just from me seeing them at their soul. I realize some people haven't been seen yet. Some people just haven't been seen yet, not truly been seen. That's tough. That's tough to realize that. People just want to be seen, We are all from a pure source. And that pure source is still there. People just want to be seen. That pure source needs to be seen in the person. And it gives them life. Okay, so let's get back to Kapila's teachings. All who associate with such men and love them become pure by living in a holy atmosphere. By hearing the praises of the Lord daily, they develop faith in God and reverence for him. Finally, they take delight in the thought of him and find love for him, filling their hearts. Then assuredly, they meditate upon him and become entirely devoted to him. When a man has had such an experience, there is no longer any attraction for him in the pleasures of senses. He is freed from the meshes of ignorance. His heart becomes illumined, and even in this earthly life, he realizes the kingdom of heaven. I'm going to read that again. When a man has had such an experience, that oneness, that unity with the all, there is no longer any attraction for him in the pleasures of senses. He is freed from the meshes of ignorance. His heart becomes illumined. And even in this earthly life, he realizes the kingdom of heaven. And I can attest to that, y'all. This is true. And this is why I love Hindu scriptures, because the Hindu scripture just beautifully unfolds. And as you read it, you know, it's same thing when I'm now when I'm reading in the Bible, but before I was in the higher parts of myself, I couldn't understand the Bible in that way, and it was very fearful. It's like every other word is fearful, but I now understand the double-edged sword. The dark was being cut into, and so therefore was reacting and causing like a blindness, or you know, you're missing something right now. You're missing something. You're missing it because you keep getting hurt, you know, by it. And the word of God is not hurtful, unless you're on the other side of the ship, so to speak. When a man has had such an experience, there is no longer any attraction for him in the pleasures of senses. He is freed from the meshes of ignorance. His heart becomes illumined, and even in this earthly life, he realizes the kingdom of heaven. And then Devahuti says, this is his mother, tell me how I may love God. Teach me that love which would easily bring freedom. Also tell me about the yoga of meditation. Our senses, O mother, draw us to things because we love the world. If we direct our love toward God, we find divine knowledge and absolute freedom. But there are souls who find such great joy in love and in the service of the Lord that they have no concern for their own salvation. Even so, divine love ultimately brings freedom to them also. Those who love God as dearly as themselves, those who have affection for Him as for their children, those who trust Him as their beloved companion, and reverence Him as the teacher of all teachers, those who love Him as their dear friend and worship Him as God, theirs is eternal life. Blessed indeed are they that steadfastly devote themselves to the worship of God, for they shall attain to absolute freedom. I am God, the Lord of the universe. I am the self in all beings. I am fearless. I free all from the fears of the world. From fear of me, the wind blows. From fear of me, the sun sheds light. From fear of me, the sun sheds light and heat, and the clouds yield rain. And from fear of me, fire burns. That's a pure fear. It's not that penetrating fear that has been forced into us, especially through domination and control, and through the institutions of religion, and even the institutions that are supposed to heal us, the hospitals, the mental hospitals, oh my gosh, there's so much pain that humanity has been through. It's just absolutely unbelievable, yet it has been. The yogis worship and serve me who am fearless. They love me and meditate on me in order to realize the highest good. When the heart becomes calm and the mind becomes united in me through love, then is attained the supreme good. And we're going to continue. Next chapter, chapter 5. The cause of misery and the way to freedom. This will be a good chapter for us. Okay. And Kapila, continuing, says, now, O mother, I will tell you of that truth, capital T, truth. O mother, I will tell you of that truth, knowing which man becomes free from the meshes of ignorance. The light of the inner consciousness, which exists as the capital S self of man, is also known as the Purusha. The Purusha is self-luminous, without beginning and without end. Cyclical. And entirely separate from Prakriti, which is the material nature. The universe of name and form is an outcome of Prakriti, right, the material nature, energized by her nearness to the Purusha. So the Purusha is like the all. It's the what you will call the Most High, like the all-pervading is the Purusha. So that is what sparks, or how does it say it? The Purusha, the universe of name and form is an outcome of Prakriti, energized, right, okay, by material nature, energized by her nearness to the Purusha. Now, speaking of nature in a feminine aspect, Mother Nature. The universe of name and form, from Prakriti. The universe of name and form is an outcome of Prakriti, the material nature, energized by her nearness to the Purusha, to the Most High. The Purusha identifying himself with Prakriti, that is, with the non-self, capital S, the non-self, capital S, that would be the impersonal form of God. Like a personal form of God is like, more a form of God. Like Jesus Christ is a personal form of God. Because we have a form, we have a visual conception that resonates with us as a human being in a personal way. So there's many forms. There's many personal forms of God. Many personal forms of God. Like it doesn't really end. And then we have the impersonal form, which is like the Purusha, which is like the Most High, which is the part of God we seek to attain, like the highest part. So, because of the material nature's closeness with the relationship with the Purusha, the Most High, okay, so then it says the Purusha identifying himself with Prakriti. So now it's saying, so it's going from her, Mother Nature, being close to the Most High. Now in turn, the Most High, the Purusha identifying himself with Prakriti. So because of the Most High identifying himself with the material nature, enters the material nature. Yup. And then that is with the non-self, capital S, which is with the impersonal part of God, becomes diluted in avidya. I know I'm not saying it. Avidya. And his consciousness becomes finite. Okay, so avidya must mean becomes diluted in avidya. So it becomes diluted in the senses, I feel like that means. I meant to bring out an old phone so I can look up things while I'm reading, but I'm just gonna interpret it that way, and then I'm gonna go back after I'm done with the video and go back and see what it means. Becomes diluted in avidya, and his consciousness becomes finite. So now you're in a box. You were infinite, and now you're finite. Like the Purusha. Now this is all speaking of God. This is all. See, God does all this, but we are created in His image, correct? So this is the same process that we go through as well. The Purusha is the eternal witness, always free and never the performer of actions. All actions proceed from the gunas of Prakriti. Now the gunas are there's 3 gunas, and the gunas are now being tested. The 3 gunas are passion, ignorance, and I'm supposed to know this. The 3 gunas, passion, ignorance, and I bet you it'll be revealed in the scriptures. Let's see, because I can't think of the high one, the late one. So Kapila says Prakriti is that which, though undifferentiated, has within itself the cause of all differentiation. Prakriti consists of 3 gunas. Here we go. Sattva, that's the highest. That's the light part. The good. The rajas is the passion. And tamas is like the I don't want to say ignorance. Tamas is like sattva, rajas, mode of, it is ignorance. So the mode of goodness is sattva, the mode of passion is rajas, and the mode of ignorance is tamas. When these gunas are in equilibrium, in perfect balance, the state is known as prakriti. Okay. Or nature, quiet, and formless. So that's the state we want to attain. Because we are part of this physical nature, too. That's why it's important for us to study and be in nature and not to be separate from it. We need to live in nature, not destroy nature to live on the land. We destroy all the fruits of the land and think we're doing good and build a structure on it. No. Okay, so back to the task at hand. When the balance of the gunas is disturbed, then is the universe projected. Oh, so it's no longer, it's kind of like you're not the universe, the universe is within, and that's how we've been living, like we project what's on the inside. So that's not a pure state. The Purusha is without form, without attributes, changeless. Therefore, he cannot be the performer of actions. As the sun, though reflected in water, is not affected by the attributes of water. So, excuse me. So the Purusha, though living in the body, is not affected by the attributes of the gunas of Prakriti. But because through ignorance, the Purusha hold on. But because through ignorance, the Purusha identifies himself with the gunas, he seems to be happy or sorrowful and thinks himself the performer of actions. Hence, his bondage to karma, which subjects him to birth and death in this world, with the result that he is born as beast, man, angel, or God, right? Because you identify with one of those parts, right? As the mind is allowed to cling to the world and the objects of the world, attachment grows, and there comes delusion. He who desires to rise above the world must learn self-control by the practice of non-attachment. Follow the path of yoga and meditation. Follow the path of yoga, of the yoga of meditation. Be steadfastly devoted to God, and with a concentrated mind, dwell in the thought of God. Learn to look with an equal eye upon all beings. Shun all hatred and enmity, and with a cheerful heart surrender yourself to the feet of the Lord. And so it is. And that's what we're supposed to do. And I was trying to quicken up because I know this tape is about to end. So amen. God bless. And be you and be beautiful. Be that light.